Alright everybody, welcome back. This is the third video in the homepage series, the little mini series here. So this would be video 6.3 overall. I'm really going to pack a lot of information into this video, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Sorry if I break my own 10-minute rule. Please forgive me. Anyways, in this particular video, we're going to be talking about what you can do with code. Now, keep in mind here that I've already said if you've got a section layout, or even when we get to pages, if there's a page layout that you really want, put it down in the comments. I will code it for you. And so what's really cool about that is if I code it for you, I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you to make the changes that you want in that, or you could even just make the changes using the what you see is what you get editor once the layout's there. So I put something together really quick just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, and I will show you. If you're gonna do anything with the code, I'm gonna highly suggest that you grab it, a text editor. There's tons of them on the internet. I use Sublime Text. If you go ahead and download Sublime Text, you don't actually have to pay for it if you don't want to, because they don't enforce the time limit on the evaluation. But it's a great program. I actually ended up buying a license for it just to be supportive. But if you go ahead and open it up, you can see that the code is pretty readable. Now, anything that you see between, with this sort of little caret and then, your arrow and then exclamation point, dot, dot, anything that's grayed out, that's a comment, okay? So this is stuff that can give you a better understanding of what's going on in the code. So let's say that I built this layout for you and you wanted to input a video. You could go ahead to Google, click on share, embed, and then copy and paste the code right from Google, and I'll make it super simple on insert YouTube video code here. I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that. But then at the same time, you're able to edit the section headings. You could change that to services or whatever you wanted it to be, and you're going to be off and running. So let's just go ahead and grab this code that I've done up really quick. We're going to copy this, and we're going to go back into the dashboard. From the dashboard, as you may already know, we're going to go home page, content management. Now let's scroll down to the about section. We're going to click on the source code editor. We're just going to click Control A, and we're going to copy and paste the code that I put in there. We're going to click OK. Now watch what happens when I've done that. Once I click save, we'll go back here and we're going to refresh the page. We'll go down to the about section, and here we go. Now I've coded this out. We've got the about section title. We've got a subheading here that you can edit. We've got a little bit of information. So we've got a 2-column layout that I built for you. You can embed a video, play it right there on your home page. Pretty cool. And then all this stuff is editable. You can add links, use the what you see is what you get editor from there. So if you want layouts, let me know what you want. I'll take care of it. Just throw it in the comments and we'll talk more about it. But now let's say, for example, you wanted to code something yourself, and obviously I don't want this to be like an HTML tutorial. I'm going to show you a couple of quick ways that you can kind of get a starting block that you might even be able to copy and paste into the WYSIWYG and then use the WYSIWYG editor from there. So one of the things that you can do, because we use Bootstrap, is you can literally Google Bootstrap layout examples. And I've already done that for you here. This website, Start Bootstrap, this is a really cool website. They got a ton of free templates. Like if you just wanted to have a freestanding website, they've got something that can get you going, right? So if you go through and explore that, you'll find some pretty cool stuff. Now I've found this portfolio items, and I think that this is a pretty good layout. I like the way it's laid out, and I think that we can do some pretty powerful stuff in it. Now I'm going to show you how I would edit this in the text editor, but then we'll also make a couple of little adjustments inside of the WYSIWYG just so you can see both ways you can go about it. So I know you're looking at this and thinking, well, that's great, but how do I make that go on my side or go into the section? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it simple. You could obviously download the files and then open them up and play this game, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and I'm going to view the page source. All right. Now this may look intimidating at first, but don't let it. You're going to have to look at things like this when you're doing keyword research and other stuff in the future. Up at the top, just basic stuff in the head. We can get a little bit of information about the styles. Bootstrap is already there, so we're good on that in the CMS. And then we've got a custom cascading style sheet. So let's click on it and see what it's got. It really doesn't have much. So margins, no worries about that. It's a little bit of formatting. It's nothing spectacular. We're not even going to need to worry about that because we're already aligned. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of look. And if you read this stuff, the comments will make it pretty easy. Here's a navigation, right? The navigation has a nav. That's the beginning nav tag. And then anytime you see a / and then that tag, that's the end of it. So that's the end of the navigation. That's cool. We can see that. So now we've got page content. Okay. There's a container, which has a row, which has, columns in it. And then you see where the end of that row is. And now we've got some portfolio items in this case. And we can see, okay, there's a row, column of 8, a column of 4. So there's the image, the big image, and here's that stuff that we were looking at before. So now what I'm going to do is I am literally just going to be able to copy this from the page source, pull it into the text editor, and we're going to go from there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to the WYSIWYG to start. And in the services section, I'm going to go ahead and grab this source code, right? So we're going to hit Control A, Control C, and we're going to copy this right into a new window of my text editor. Now you're looking at that and saying, well, that doesn't look very good, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this, and you're going to see how this is going to transform. So I'll click Save As. I'm going to go ahead and put in CMS stuff, home pages, and then example. And I'm going to put .html, and that's going to be the file type. And that now codes it, but it's still not very readable from the WYSIWYG editor, so I'm just going to Control A, I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to go to Edit, Line, Reindent, and magically it does the formatting for me, so now I can definitely see what's going on here. So again, don't let the code intimidate you. Let's just break it down and see what we've got here. We've got a comment. We have a services section. Well, there's the section, and it's underlined. Now when I scroll down, I can see the end of that section. That's cool. We're going to need that. Then I've got the container, which is also good. I can see that. Now I've got a row, and it's going to follow the same format as all the rest of these. We've got the section subheading, so we've got our services here, and then some information about the services you provide, and that's in a section subheading, so all that's good. Now, this is really the end of this first row. I'm going to go ahead and put a comment here so you can see it. That's just a way of saying that there's the end of the row. You could also say end of row or whatever you want. It doesn't matter, okay? So we're going to keep all this stuff in the section subheading. That's good. We want this. But then let's go down and say, okay, what don't we want? Well, we know that we really don't want any of the content after that heading. So let's look and figure out which of this can we delete. So here on this container, I see that if I go down, everything's lined up. And I get the underline. So I'm going to grab from there up to that container. I'm just going to delete this stuff because we're not going to need it anyways. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of space. We can pull that back out later, but now we've got a little bit of room to work. So going back to the browser, we're going to look at all this code that we wanted. And remember, we saw that there was a row, columns, everything's good there. We've actually got the page content. So let's go from this comment of the page content. And you know what? Let's take a look at where it ends. So there's the end of the container. Okay. So it's going to go all the way down to the footer. Okay. So we're not going to take any of the footer. So let's grab this code all the way back up to where we were looking for page content. So let's just copy this and paste it right in here. Excellent. So now we've got it. Okay. Made the document a little long. Again, don't let it stress you out. So we're not going to need this container. So let's get rid of that ending div. We're good on that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get rid of this container. And we don't need a portfolio item heading because we've already got our heading. So portfolio item row. That's really what we're looking for. So let's take this stuff. And now we can see what we've got here. We've got our heading, right? And then we've got a new row of content. We've got that big image that you saw, right? Then in that right-hand column, we've got information about this, the bulletized list, and then scrolling down, we've got all these images. Now, all this is this is a href. This is a link. This means that you can actually link these images. And right now, they've got a placeholder coming from that website of placehold.it. So you can see. Now, again, I know I'm moving really fast. You can always go back through and again, try it. Just try and make it work. Go and do this, mess it up, see how it goes, work it till it breaks and start over. It won't take you long to get there, and you'll be able to definitely see what's going on. Let's go ahead and Control A and copy this stuff. Now I'm going to go right back into the source code for the services section. I'm just going to hit Control A, Control V just to see how it looks. We're going to save this and check it out. Okay, refresh the page, and there we go. Look at that. That really wasn't that hard. Now we've got our services section. We've got the images. We've got all this stuff. And if at this point, if you're like, man, I don't want to deal with that any further in the code level, well, guess what? Now we can manage this in the what you see is what you get editor. It's just a matter of editing the text and changing this stuff up. I think what I will probably do is put in a picture of a shop, add some dummy information, and then I'm going to change this from like related to products to top brands, and then maybe put some of the brand logos and link to their catalogs. I'll go ahead and do that, and then show you in the next video, what the end result will look like. Again, if there is layouts like this that you think are cool that you find online, or maybe you're struggling with this a little bit, throw your comments below. I'm always here to help you. And again, I can code out these section layouts for you. You just got to let me know. Throw it in the comments. I hope you guys followed this pretty well. At this point, you're going to be seasoned pros in this content management system. Moving forward, we're actually going to start looking at creating pages and dealing with navigation and stuff like that. So I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Hopefully you found this helpful. Please subscribe to the channel to get the latest updates, and like the video if you found it helpful. Thanks, guys. See you in the next video.